get 'em. Punt Pals where the game begins. Betting on sports with our expert spins. From football fields to courtside drills. Punt Pals podcast, we pay the bills. Punt Pals, go in and play. Join us now every sports day. Tips and picks that never fail. Punt Pals podcast, set yourself.
Well, I must say it is good to be back. We've had a few weeks off. My name is Robbie Von. This is Nick Ristovic. We're back in the house for episode 50, by the way, because we've started splitting episodes, mate.
50 is a big milestone, isn't it? The old half century.
Huge milestone. It's so good. Congratulations on making it to 50. Raise the bat, sir.
Thanks to all of us joining us again for Punt Pals. We've had a bit of a mid-season Euro trip spell, haven't we, mate?
We have. Only one of us has done the Euro trip, though. Sorry, I wanted to bring you along, but the wife said, nah, there's no one else allowed, which I was surprised because you're a man that she likes. I reckon she would have liked you on holiday.
She probably wouldn't have liked me after a couple of weeks in Europe, though, mate. Tagging along as a third wheel, but I felt like I was there with you, mate, spiritually.
Oh, yeah, we did post a few pictures.
You did, mate, yeah. So I felt like I was there every step of the way.
Good.
It was a full sort of vlogging / social media barrage while you're away, mate.
I know, good. We went a bit crazy, didn't we?
It was bloody awesome.
Well, the good thing is, Alana is so full on with those stories that I just reposted hers. I didn't really even put any of my own content up. Didn't need to.
Handy.
It's great.
We'll leave it to the experts too. I mean, Alana, she's all over it.
Oh, mate, she is the queen of socials, so it worked very well.
And they come with a bit of a European tan as well, mate. I noticed. Yeah.
Do you know what? It's amazing, hey. Like, I'm usually so white, translucent almost, Johnny Noble areas. And, man, like, it does not tan you in Europe. It does not burn you, I should say, in Europe. And it just tans you. Like, you'd be coming back olive.
Yeah, I would be, man.
It was beautiful.
I think I'm due.
You're due?
I've seen you in Kalgoorlie, though. You do burn up it, don't you?
Oh, they say that's the Paris of the outback, don't they?
You're not quite getting the quality of seafood out in Cal that you would be getting in Italy there in the on the bloody slopes of Sicily, mate, is it?
Oh, it's very true. It's very true. I tell you what, there was some nice seafood. The pizza and the pasta was the best, though. That's what I was really there for.
Yeah, skin folds will be up, wouldn't they? On your way back.
So bad.
No,
don't even care.
Don't head back to pre-season anytime soon.
Don't even worry about it. Just write it off. That's next year's problem, I suppose.
Well, it's good to have you back, mate. It's been a while between drinks. Good to be in the studio. Good to hear the song too, you know, the intro.
I know.
Just gets you up and about. And that.
Didn't it make you just feel really nostalgic? I don't know. It's only about a year old, that song. It's not that old, but it just feels good to hear it.
Yeah, it's been quite the journey. I know I copped a bit of heat while you're away too. You know, when the tip's coming out. So hopefully a few chomping at the bit now to get stuck into this one.
Bloody oath, bloody oath. How you been anyway, mate?
Yeah, good, man. Been flat out, obviously. AFL season in full swing.
Yeah.
We've had, all sorts of big soccer tournaments and that to manage at work, and we're already gearing up for the spring carnival. Can you believe it?
Hang on,
couple
soccer
of months.
tournaments? What the hell have you been doing with soccer tournaments?
Oh, mate, you know me.
Yeah.
I've got my fingers in a few pies.
Is this like a work sports league?
No,
or is this...
the actual leagues we're putting markets on.
Okay, actually betting stuff. Okay. Thought you'd been playing a bit of futsal or something at the local indoor centre.
No, the ACL wouldn't hold up, mate. When it comes to social soccer.
Fair.
Just a calamity of different sports all popping off at the same time.
Great to hear.
And then trying to buy a house as well, like probably the rest of the population here in WA has been quite a dedication of time.
Do you find that your betting account is contributing to the purchase of the house? Like, are you building every week, or is it one of those things that your broker's going to look at and go, Jesus, there's a lot spent on that?
Yeah, I haven't given you access to my betting account, that's for sure.
Oh, mate.
It might affect my credit history.
Mate, you're done. They see your bank account.
I just sent in the last podcast where I got that midfielders multi and said... I'm from getting 5-to-1s up every week. No, the $10 outlays don't really cut it, mate. Even a $50 collect. So, no, I've had to scale back the betting activities in some way, shape or form. But, mate, it's just every weekend just chasing the home opens and, competing with the mosh pits of people, walking through them.
It's actually hell, isn't it? We went through that process about a year and a half ago and it was disgusting. Putrid. Hated it.
Yeah, it's the worst, man. But I'd much rather be on the couch watching Freo rather than, competing with other people for putting bids in that. But
yeah, fair.
Looking for a pad that's got a bit of side access for the boat, mate, and a nice little outside area to watch the footy too. So there's strict criteria.
Yes, you need somewhere to mount that TV.
Correct.
And it's got to be a big area.
2 TVs, Sky 1, Sky 2, obviously.
Great from you.
Yeah.
Do you think 3's overkill?
One could have the sport, 2 racing channels, so I don't think so.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Man, you're You're a man of good attitude.
Yeah, got to be positive, mate. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly right. I like this. I like this.
So, no, I've been good, man. Just been hanging out for this potty, really.
Same.
And just to rip into all the AFL stuff, because there's a fair bit to catch up on, obviously.
Man, there is heaps. And I know we sort of bet like 3 weeks ago. So you just want to brag about your midfielders multi, I think. And that's all we need to talk about from last pod.
Bit of shameless self-promotion, of course.
And you should.
Mate, yeah, look, went away from the goal kickers multi. Mm-hmm. There was just a couple of, you raised a good point of Adelaide having 3 key forwards bouncing off each other different times they bob up.
Rotation.
And that was killing me every week, mate.
Yeah.
So I thought, let's just go with the ball magnets, put 5 in a multi, went banging around 550, and quite a lot of punters going on. So just been riding that wave of highs until today's potty where we might struggle again. But anyway, it was good, mate.
It was very good. Hopefully everyone followed Nico on that one because you know what? You got to take the good ones when they come. So very well done, sir.
Thanks, mate.
It's a casher. It's a banker.
No, we just need to double it up again.
Now, tell me, I have completely and utterly switched off from footy, pretty much all sport, to be fair. I just needed the break. So it's been 3 weeks of knowing nothing. You're going to have to give me a little bit of a wrap here. Get us clued in on what on earth has been going on.
Yeah, well, mate, there has been a few changes since you've been away.
Right.
The things that have stayed consistent, and we'll start there. The Pies, mate, they just kept rolling on.
They're about 8 points ahead on the ladder now, aren't they?
Won their last 4 and had a narrow win over the D's by 1 point, which is their only real hurdle in that time. But they just get those close games, mate, and they just go to another level.
That's been the Pies for about 4 or 5 years now, isn't it? Yeah. They love a close game. Like it's almost an on-purpose thing where they keep it close and then just win clutch at the end.
And they just got so many weapons. Dacos will get tagged out of it, so Josh will have 35. Their forwards any given night. Elliott, Bobby Hill will bob up. They'll kick multiple goals, or Myercheck's back now. So they just seem to be prime time at the moment, mate. Prime for the latter end of the season. And a couple of their senior players have been playing career best footy as well, which helps.
Does anybody beat them at the moment for the flag?
Well, I think there's been teams that have had a sniff in games. Mm-hmm. So I think they are vulnerable. Mm-hmm. But you just got to know they're going to be strong really late in the game and prepare for that. Mm-hmm. And I think as the season rolls on, just really depends on how those senior players stack up in terms of injuries and form.
McRae must be a bloody good coach around prepping players for that game situation.
Absolutely. He's got great systems. They talk about it in all the analysis throughout the week in different AFL shows around Australia. But I think it's more around just their game plan, their discipline, how they help each other out in the midfield. They're very selfless through there. So if a tag goes to Dacos, they'll all focus on getting him free rather than winning their own footy. So they've just got, as I said, so many weapons. Bobby Hill can bob up and kick 4 on you in a half and beat you.
Do you know who's not doing a lot, and maybe it's changed in the last 3 weeks, but you don't really hear about him much at all anymore, is Jordan De Goey. He was like their number one go-to 3 years ago, and he doesn't do a lot now, or is he more a role player? Like, what's going on with De Goey? Is he injured?
Injured, yeah. He's been injured, but again, they're probably just giving him a spell, getting him ready for the back end of the season. Ned Long's been a revelation for them in the midfield. He's sort of taken a few years to come on, but he's a regular 25 posies plus got to get her at the moment. Myercheck's come back in. So, as I said, mate, they just don't seem to have many holes. And Darcy Moore's playing good footy again. Jeremy Howe, the list goes on, really. They're just hard to beat, man. And they sit on top of the ladder. To your point, 2 games clear with a pretty soft run home. You think they're going to be hard to beat?
I reckon you might be right. What else has been going on? What about the other clubs? Let's not talk about Collingwood anymore.
Mate, everyone's loving what the Bombers are producing at the moment, to be honest. I know it's hard to say they've been getting beaten, but in patches of games with literally half a side, they've been rivaling some good teams in patches. Everyone's saying they're playing finals next year, so you'd be pleased to hear that.
That's good. One thing about the Bombers, which is making me really, really happy, is the fact that we are finally just blooding players. Like for the last 10 years, it's been my biggest bugbear is that Essendon always go back to the well, recruit more senior or experienced players, thinking they're a bit further ahead than what they are. Now, they're quite literally just blooding everybody. It's not really by choice, but 11, 12 debutants so far this year. Yep. Man, it's just what you want to see from the Dons. Just completely clear the decks, get all these young guys in, and hopefully build a premiership team. It's the only way to do it. Yeah,
100% agree. That's what they're doing. At least they're committed. There's going to be some pain, and you see in games they can play well for a couple of quarters and then completely shit the bed. But there are probably a couple of key position players down forward to help Caddy out a little bit away from winning regular games.
Yeah.
And then you've got like guys of Durham, your big ruckman who's done the Achilles to come back in. Draper. So you've got a lot of quality tall players out of that side at the moment. They all come back in. These young guys have made that experience, to your point. I think suddenly you man a case for them to have a really good year next year.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Who else? What else is happening?
Oh, we can't go talking about Freo, mate, obviously. We knocked off your boys in the round 15, but we almost got rolled by North the week before.
What the hell?
We won our last 5, though, mate. We're now 6th position on the ladder inside the 8.
Yes.
And we're the youngest list on average in terms of average age in the league, so there's plenty of positive signs for us. The first time we won 5 on the trot since 2022, where we played finals.
I did hear the other day that Caleb Sarong, and this just sums up how young Freo are, and you don't even realise it. He's still 24 or under. Like, he's still really, really young.
Yeah, they're all in the window, and then there's some super young guys. Like, we put big raps on the guys like Jai Amos and Josh Tracy. They're like 20s, you know.
It's nuts, eh?
It's like a lot of improvement to come, but they're not taking a few big scalps in the moment, mate, and they got a pretty soft draw coming home, which we'll talk about later.
Oh, it's what you want to see. Sam Darcy, is he back yet from his injury?
He
or what?
is, mate. Yeah, came back in, just went bang bang.
Did he?
3 goals first week, 5 goals the second week back. He just cannot be stopped, man.
And he, again, so young. What is he, about 20?
Yeah, 2021. Came back from that knee, but you watch his vision. If he takes the ball at its highest point, which he's timing his leads really well. You need to play a specialist backman to go with him because he's just so tall. You're not in the contest.
He's still pretty rangy against those big bodies, though, isn't he? Like, he still hasn't filled out as such. He's tall and you can see he's going to be big, but he's still got a lot of outward growing to go.
His forward craft, I would say, is his most amazing piece. He knows not to go to the body. So he's so agile. Even at ground level, when the ball goes to ground, he's sort of so quick and agile. So he's causing problems for multiple backlines at the moment. I think everyone's worried about him, and they seem to be really playing some great footy at the moment. He's kicked 8 goals in his last 2 games, Sam Darcy, so they keep doing that well. Plus Kennedy comes back in. The same old story for the Doggies. Richards in career best form. They look a dangerous prospect also, mate.
Suns, why aren't they in the 4 anymore? What's happened?
Oh, mate, they're having those mid-season stumbles again.
Yeah, that was predictable.
Lost their
Could
last
they finish
3.
9th?
Well, that's now the pressure's on them again.
Yeah.
Everyone was rapping them. I was 3 weeks ago. They were in my sizzling category.
Yeah.
But they're in danger now, mate. They've got a couple of tough games on the way home. They lead up to the finals, and they've gone from looking like top 8 locks to potentially missing again.
I heard their clash jumper in the expansion cup was an absolute stinker. It was like a West Coast rip-off, but not good.
That wasn't good, mate. Yeah, you're spot on there.
I need to go back and Google it. I haven't actually seen it yet. I'm coming
made it
in
all
that
the way
green.
to Italy, did it? The news on the jumper.
I heard a few people bagging it in the news yesterday, I think it was, and I was like, I need to go back and look at that.
Of
Haven't
course,
done it
had
yet.
the pink number a few weeks ago too, the Suns.
Don't mind the pink.
Yeah. I'd rock that.
Yeah.
But yeah, they've
you look good in it.
Thanks, mate. Yeah.
Mustache, you'd look very Miami.
Bring out my moustache. No, they've been mate. They're hardly bankers, that's for sure when it comes to your multis.
Yeah, that's true at the moment. Hey, what about from a West Coast and Freo point of view? West Coast climbed the ladder at all? They moved up out of the bottom 4?
Well, they gave the fans a real sniff a couple of weeks ago down in Bunbury. I'm not sure if you were aware the Roos sold 2 games over here to WA.
I did follow that briefly, yeah. Apparently it was one of the worst football games of all time.
Mate, it was abhorrent to watch.
Yeah.
Like, if you'd paid your money to go down the hands over there in Bunbury, I'd be asking for a refund.
Why was it so bad? Was it just low scoring?
Super low scoring. Perfect day's footy.
Yeah.
Just turnovers galore both ways. Eagles in front by 3 or 4 goals going into the last quarter. It looked like the Eagles were going to sniff a win. And just completely capitulated, mate. Led at 3/4 time and lost by 10 points, I think, in the end.
What the hell?
North Melbourne snatched it. And, it's been a good little happy hunting ground over here for North. They got the 1 win and then we're pretty good against Freo, so they're an improving side.
Love that. At least they're showing something. I mean, Harley Reid, I saw, had a few best on grounds, or at least 1 best on ground.
Yeah, a lot of biff. 1 best on ground, so yeah.
That's just Harley.
Nothing changes there. And your man Baker and the usual culprits have been racking them up off half back.
Love it.
And also, obviously, their captain's gone down with injury too, Oscar Allen, while you're away. So he'll now probably play no further part in this season by all accounts, and they'll look to trade him at the end of the year, I guess, for some value.
So you don't reckon he'll play for the Eagles again?
Well, I don't know if there's any incentive for them to play him and risk him.
Yeah, okay.
He's got, I think, a patella injury in his knee. So I don't know why they'd risk him, but Yeah, mate. That's a bit of a sad side. He was actually playing some good footy too.
Yeah, bugger. What about the Dockers, man? I see that they have had a little bit of a run lately. So you said just in that last bit they've done like 5 in a row or something. Who's sort of coming through with the goods?
5 in a row. Well, their midfield's found some consistency, I think, the main thing. They've chosen to stick with Luke Jackson as their number one ruckman.
Yeah, well, he's dominant.
Had the best, highest-rated game of any Docker of all time on the weekend.
Of all time?
Yeah.
Holy crap. What did he do that was so, like, what were the stats?
Kicked a few goals, had a heap of hit-outs, and had about 8 or 9 score involvements.
Holy crap.
Playing against the first game in Vicentini obviously helps.
Yeah, that's always nice to monster a first game
the Dons. But yeah, I'd say their form has corresponded with Luke Jackson going to the ruck and playing a dominant role.
Yeah.
And then, just that midfield craft of Sarong and Brayshaw playing consistent footy together.
Yeah.
Josh Tracy's bounced back into form.
I was going to ask, how's your boy Tracy going? Is he kicking goals again?
He's going bloody well.
Good.
Yeah. Shia Bolton's bobbing up. So a couple of stats, obviously, from the weekend. As I said, Luke Jackson, highest rated performance of any player in round 15. 48 hit-outs, 10 clearances, 3 goals. Sarong had an amazing game in the weekend, 35 posies, 7 clearances, 2 goals, which is a string to his bow he hasn't had in recent years. Now he's hitting the scoreboard a little bit.
You don't think of him as a goal kicker usually.
Our man Josh Tracy, the multi-killer, kicked 3. And then what I would say about the Dons in the same game, mate, is Caddy just does those freakish things occasionally, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
Gets you excited for the future. Archer May, the mid-season recruit, I talked to you about him. He kicked 2, looked to find really smart spots inside 50 against a pretty good backline, may I add, in Fremantle. But one thing I didn't like, mate.
Fire away.
Merritt just keeps getting put to half back to try and break the tag and just completely goes from having a 15-possession first half to a 3 or 4 possession second half. And just, I don't know, mate. You got to have your best players in the guts where the ball's going to be won. I don't understand it.
Well, Zach Merritt should only be playing in the midfield. He should not be anywhere else, ever. Don't rest him in the forward line. Don't rest him at half-back. Just put him in the guts at all times.
No Durham either. Like, it's not like you've got the depth. Parrish is back, but he should be getting a game in there, man.
Yeah, it's not even a discussion.
Work through
what the hell's
tag.
Scott doing?
I don't know. Someone else put the block on like they do for Dacos, but leave him there.
Is he trying to put other people through the midfield? Like, is he trying to get experience into other guys?
I think he's just trying to ruin everyone's AFL same-game multi. The Dons are on the books. I don't know.
Why do you hate betting so much, Brad Scott?
Oh, mate, I tell you what. So I think he had 2 possessions for the final quarter when the game was in balance. And I just thought, well, you're prime mover.
He's going to go down as one of our greats of all time, Zach Merritt.
100%, mate.
And you shouldn't be treating him like that.
I'll put him at half forward, so at least he's involved in the scoring chain. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Rather than hiding him down at half back to break the tag. So they're the things I don't like about the Dons at the moment. But Freo, they're in good form, mate. They've got a pretty good run home, which we talk about, and I think not getting too far ahead of ourselves, but they should be playing finals footy.
Ooh, don't be saying the big F word already,
Yeah,
mate.
mate.
Do you want me to censor that out?
Custom checks, yeah.
Do you want the swearing beep?
Go and load up on the top 8 for Freo.
Love it. All right, let's lay the barometer on.
Sizzling hot, teeth chattering cold, or somewhere the middle. Here's the Punt Pals podcast barometer.
Starting at the bottom, sir.
We're
In
going straight
the
to
cold category. Like,
Straight to the cold.
did anyone bring their jackets? Who's freezing at the moment?
Freezing. Oh, mate. The Blues.
They haven't got the right colour for it.
Oh, having a mare of a season, man. They're 6-8 now, risk losing the finals, and they are playing some absolutely woeful footy, bro.
I love listening to another podcast, Tradies, and for the last couple of years, Sam McClure has always said the Blues should be top 4 based on their list. And they bloody should be. Like, if you look at it on paper, they should have one of the best lists in the competition, and they should be in that top 4, if not top 2, but they're just not getting it done.
No, they're not. And even their upper echelon of players, the likes of Harry Mackay and Curnow, just go missing in games. Walsh is now injured. He's out of the side, but he had a couple of quiet ones going in. Cripps has been at full forward at times.
Man.
I've just seen a very weird Carlton side who don't seem to really want the contested footy. That's what the knock on them and I have. They're getting beaten up on the footy, which is something they've been really strong on for many years. They had Kennedy going through there. He's gone to Western Bulldogs now. He was a great depth player. Absolutely, mate. So you suddenly drop a couple of those depth players out of the middle, and they seem to be losing clearances, even with a great ruckman in DeConing. Which means they're exposed, and they lost to North on the weekend, who were a better side, but that's a game they have to win to make finals.
Yeah.
They trailed at 43 points at three-quarter time against the Roos on the weekend, the Blues, and keep in mind the Blues lost to Richmond in round 1 as well, so Some question marks there for Vossi and a lot of pressure in that club, who are a big, proud club in Melbourne.
Yeah, and from what I could see, the Blues actually kicked a few goals in junk time, which then made the scoreline look a lot better.
Yeah, flattering, wasn't it, in the end?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's huge pressure on Vossi, man. They don't like to stick with their coaches very much. Ask Mick Malthouse.
Yeah, so true. And Ratton.
Yeah.
And that Smiley guy. Who was he again?
Bolton.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mate, it just keeps going.
So, I don't know. I think their side is a bit overrated in terms of their list, Robbie, if they're missing a couple of their key players. Yeah. I think their depth drops away pretty quickly.
Yeah, which you just wouldn't have thought about them. I thought they had a great list, but it wasn't to be. Any other Friezos at the moment?
Mate, Joel Amartey party.
Oh, I'm going to talk about him later, actually, in our bets tomorrow.
We might leave him for the bets, but just a quick
No,
mention.
give us the freezing.
Well, he come straight back in first game. Obviously, Joel Amartey, for those who don't follow Sydney well, has kicked 9 goals in a game.
Yeah.
He's a tall full forward. His accuracy in front of goal has probably been one of his strengths at times. Not on the weekend, though, mate.
Ooh.
8 shots a goal, 6 points, 2 directly in front and 2 out of bounds on the full. Did not register a goal.
He had 8 shots, didn't kick a goal?
Yep.
Oh.
6 points, 2 out of bounds on the full.
Oh.
So that's what you get paid to do, man.
Yeah.
You're a full forward.
It's
You
your
come
one
back
job.
in. If they had lost that game, lucky they won because they would have been spewing. They created enough opportunities, but he's not earning his paycheck and he's doing that sort of stuff.
That is shocking, actually. And it's funny because I didn't realise that when I put him in the don't trusts for tomorrow. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that makes it, you've explained it well. That makes a lot of sense.
Right, perfect combination of a lot of betting apps are doing the hot legs now, which is the most favourite leg.
I've seen it.
Joel Amartey, first game back, anytime goal scorer, I think $1.13, $1.14, you're like, it's an easy boost.
Yeah,
You
right.
would be spewing.
You wouldn't be with your work hat on, though.
No, probably not, mate.
What about the Coldies? Just a little bit less freezing.
Yeah, the Suns have taken some big scalps, mate. They beat the Hawks, the Bulldogs, they've beaten the Crows. They're arguably 3 teams who've been pretty good this year, particularly the Bulldogs and Adelaide. But their last 3 losses against Freo, Geelong and GWS make me think they're just that run below the better teams.
Mm-hmm.
And if their best players aren't firing, the likes of Anderson and Rowell, a couple of them have a quiet game, they tend to get beaten. So they're going to play the Pies, Adelaide, Lions and Giants in the run home.
Yeah.
Just a bit cold at the moment, mate. Up there in Gold Coast.
Which this time of the year, it's usually quite nice compared to the rest of the country, but not from a Suns point of view.
Yeah, I know. So they're just a bit of a watch at the moment, and I've got them in the cold category, meaning I'm probably not placing many bets on them in line and head-to-head markets.
Could they finish 9th once again?
You'd
In
hope
Richmond.
I was rooting for them a few weeks ago, mate. I really was.
Yeah, you'd like to see him play finals, but time will tell on that one. Room temp, just the old cuzzy. They're not cold, they're not hot, they're just there.
There's a big watch on the North Melbourne Kangaroos, the shin boners,
Interesting.
mate. They've been on the edge of taking some big scalps this season, but they've had one quarter where they've just leaked goals. Like a sieve, right? They're starting to become a pretty good contested side.
Showing a bit.
Wardor, Luke Parker, LDU, they came from a close behind win recently, and then they had a close loss to Freo here in WA. So 1 win, 1 loss over here in 2 games, 3 weeks away from home. And I think there's a few players playing under the radar, mate. Tom Powell had 34 posies in the weekend. Colby McKercher had 2 goals, 29 posies, his best game for the club.
Nice.
A high draft pick. And then Tristan Xerri is probably All-Australian ruckman alongside Luke Jackson and Max Gawn at the moment. So I think Clarko is starting to develop his game style.
Mm-hmm.
They're beating up better teams with more experienced players that are several years older than them.
Mm-hmm.
What their ceiling in 2 or 3 years' time for me is massive. I think they've got huge upside.
Interesting thing about them is they've had so many high draft picks, like 1s, 2s, 3s, all the top 10s. They got to get good eventually, don't they? Like all these, you're not going to hit every time, but a lot of these players are going to come on and become guns. So surely they get good. They have to.
Yeah, and a couple of guys, like you got to wonder where their improvement's going to come from. Paul Curtis is a good example this year. He's in All-Australian conversations. He's kicked multiple goals on many occasions, and he didn't last year. So Luke Parker comes in. So I think they've taken steps forward this year. Hasn't necessarily shown on their win-loss record.
Yeah.
But against really good teams, they've won quarters here and there, which tells me if they start to find some consistency, they can win some big games.
Mm-hmm. I love that from you, mate. And not finally. We got a couple more to go. We got hot to start with before we get into the sizzles. Who's running hot?
GWS, the last 2 wins have been pretty impressive.
They're so up and down, aren't they?
They are.
It's another one like Carlton where you look at their list and you go, should be top 4, but they haven't really been consistent throughout the year.
Yeah, and they haven't. And then they can beat really good sides. So there's two wins I refer to being Brisbane, who beat Geelong and Geelong on the weekend. So they're no slouches. And then the Suns, who have been very impressive until recent weeks. They sit inside the 8 now. They face the Eagles, Dons, Sydney and Saints on the run home. Mm-hmm. So it's a friendly draw. And Cadman, quick shout out for the man who I didn't have in my trusters a few weeks ago.
He was a don't trust. You were not happy with Cadman.
Well, you've been away, mate. He's pulled the finger out big time.
Has he?
8 goals in his last 2 games. Hogan's had quiet games. He kicked 6 actually the week before, but when he went missing, Cadman was the man.
Hello, there you go.
Yeah. He's a man to watch, and I think he's just starting to string together now. He's 6'4", athletic, can jump at the footy, and I think he's just starting to figure it out.
Speaking of which, stringing them together, has Stringer been kicking goals? Or?
Kicked a ridiculous one on the weekend, mate.
Oh, gotcha.
Kicked 2, I think, including a really important one for them late against the Expansion Cup.
The Expansion Cup.
So they call GWS versus Gold Coast.
I don't like it, but anyway, that's another story.
So, no, he's come good, mate. Your man Stringer, as he always does for at least 2 games a year.
Yep. And I do like watching him when he's hot, even if he's not playing from the Bombers. He's one of those players where you go, okay, he gets it done.
Do you have GWS in your top 4 or top 8 coming into the year?
Do you know what? I haven't been watching footy the last few weeks, so I don't have one. Ask me next week.
Okay.
Ask me next week. I'll bring a top 4 for you.
Get a read on them. I think
let's make that a little project. A top 8 next week.
We should do a top 4 futures multi, I reckon.
Okay. I like it.
We'll see if we can pick the top 4 in any order or something to see what our odds are.
I love it. All right, let's do that next week.
All right, done.
Done deal. That's a bit of research. And we'll finish off, mate, today's pod with the old sizzling on the Punt Pals barometer. Who has got the sizzle right now?
Well, we've talked about the Pies.
Yes.
So we won't keep talking about them.
Okay.
It pains me. It's like sort of poison coming out of my mouth sometimes.
Yeah, it's good that you've made that decision.
A couple of things on them to finish off. Darcy Cameron, mate. I think he's a depth player, but he's having a really good year.
Yeah.
He kicked 2 on the weekend and went down forward and was taking some good contested marks. Membry, Elliott, McStay, Cameron, Lipinski all kicked multiple majors in the weekend. So they have a number of avenues to goal, which I think is the key for them. And then Josh Dacos had the ball and a string off half back, man. He had 35 odd again, I think, off half back.
Funny to say, but he does almost go under the radar a little bit just because Nick gets so much attention. You don't think about Josh as much, but he's dominant.
Yeah, he is extremely dominant. If you allow him to run off half back all day without any attention, that's what he'll do to you.
Yeah.
So it was quite staggering to see they didn't go with a better game plan against him. But the most impressive team at the moment for me goes without saying, reigning premiers, mate. Brisbane Lions.
The Lions. Okay. Well, after that Geelong win, yeah, that's fair.
350th game for Danger.
Yeah.
100 for Stengel. The whole entire crowd outfitted in white shirts.
The white out. That was cool.
You know, and to be honest, mate, they just put them to bed early. First 4 goals of the game took the crowd right out of it. And it's their first win in Geelong since 2003.
What the hell were Geelong doing?
I don't know, man. It's just is it a blip on the radar or is it just a complete mind lapse? I don't know.
I've always found them very tough to tip, just saying. Like, I always find they just lose a couple here and there where you go, how does that happen?
Yeah, I don't know. Backline and who they're playing against. And the knocks on the Lions have been their forwards, right? How are they going to cover Joe Danaher? Well, they've got a man at 20 years old called Logan Morris, mate. He went through the draft at pick 31. He's kicked bags of 5 and 6 in the last couple of weeks. Sam Taylor, he beat the previous week as the All-Australian fullback from GWS. Knocked off Jack Henry on the weekend. 10 goals in the last 2 games, sorry. And he's already surpassed his final tally of goals from last year only midway through the season this year.
Does he somewhat stink of Jonathan Brown?
Well, mate, how's this for a stat, right?
25 years ago.
He sits ahead of Rewalt, Jeremy Cameron and Danaher with more goals at the 32-game mark.
Damn, there you go. He could be the new Brownie.
He's in rare air, man.
Yeah,
and he's huge. To your point, he's going to fill out and add size as a key forward. They don't get good till mid-20s. So if he's already hitting that sort of mark at 20 years of age, I think he's a bit of a forgotten man. And when he's kicked bags, mate, they've won games convincingly, and he did against Geelong.
It's exciting for the Lions. They just keep uncovering them, really. Like, you'd think losing Joe Danaher would be a major issue, but they've managed to overcome it. It's impressive.
Yeah, maybe Oscar Allen there next year.
Yeah, well, it's sounding more likely, isn't it?
I think it's more likely than not. So
interesting.
They'll be around the mark for a couple more years. That window is well and truly open. And Loman's come back too.
Yeah, Gunn. Love Loman.
Took 2 or 3 hangers on the weekend.
Did he? He loves a fly.
He's your
loves
man.
a goal.
No, you love him.
Man, after watching him in the grand final last year, I didn't know much about him before then. I've been a big fan. Yeah.
Any question marks for you around the Lions, you reckon, mate?
Again, from the last 3 weeks, I don't have any. I just think blokes like Charlie Cameron haven't been as good as what they have been in other years. So I think guys like that, like their real leaders there, are a little bit of a question mark. But other than that, they're pretty strong at the moment.
Yeah.
I like Brisbane. If it's not going to be the Bombers to win the flag, I would like it to be Brisbane. Put it that
Soft
way.
spot for the Lions, have you, mate?
I think so, yeah. You know, bit of Roger Merritt action from back in the day.
Oh, true, yeah. Okay.
Roger, what a gun.
Goes back all those days, is it?
Yeah, bloody oath. Left Essendon, did all right at the Bears, but, you know, it was still Brizzy. But, mate, that concludes. Well done. You have completely and utterly got us all up to date on what's been going in the footy. Yeah. So we'll be back tomorrow.
Time to set us up for a win this week, mate.
Hell yeah, love it. All right, that's Punt Pals podcast done for a Tuesday.
Noise Pilot.